Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging deep into the life-saving rules of excavation. We're going to break down Indian Standard IS 3764. Now, this is the official guide that literally stands between a routine job and a potential tragedy anytime someone opens up the ground on a construction site. You know, it might just look like a hole, but get this. A single cubic meter of soil can weigh over 1.5 tons. The answer is all about the immense, crushing pressure the Earth exerts from all sides. That's why a strict safety code isn't just paperwork. It's a critical, life-saving defense against a cave-in. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to walk through 6 key areas, all drawn directly from the official safety standard, IS 3764. We'll look at when the rules apply, who's calling the shots, and all the specific safeguards that are meant to protect every single person on that site. First things first, let's get super clear on when these rules actually kick in. Because, not every single hole dug in the ground is covered. So knowing the boundaries of the standard is really step 1. So the key takeaway here, the big one, is the 1.5 meter rule. The standard covers a lot, yeah, but it really kicks into high gear once a trench is deeper than 1.5 meters and a person has to get down in there. The moment that happens, these safety measures, they become absolutely mandatory, no exceptions. All right, next up, let's talk about what might just be the single most important factor for safety on any site: clear leadership. Because let's be honest, without one person in charge who knows what they're doing, even the best rules in the world can just fall apart. And the standard could not be more direct about this. It says a single, competent person must be in charge. And their authority isn't just some suggestion, it has to be made crystal clear to everyone on site. This gives them the power they need to enforce the safety rules without any argument. And as you can see, this job is way more than just watching people work. It's about being proactive. It's about inspecting everything, especially after a heavy rain that could make the soil unstable. It's about planning, knowing what's underground, and just being constantly vigilant. So we've established who's responsible. Now let's look at the main way we stop the #1 danger in any excavation, that catastrophic collapse of the trench walls. This is where something called shoring and timbering comes in. And there's that number again, 1.5 meters. This is the absolute critical trigger for action. In most types of soil, once you dig past this depth, the game completely changes. You must have a structural system in place to hold all that earth back. So let's break this system down. The first piece of the puzzle is the sheathing. Just think of sheathing as the shield. It's the first line of defense, those vertical planks that go right up against the trench walls to hold back the soil. Next up, you've got the wales. Now these are the backbone of the whole setup. They're the horizontal beams that run along the length of the trench, and their job is to press against the sheathing, supporting it and spreading out that immense pressure. And finally, we have the struts. The struts are the muscles of the operation. These are the braces that go across the trench, actively pushing outwards against the wales to fight back against all that inward pressure from the soil. And here you can see how it all fits together like a giant puzzle. It's a system. The sheathing goes in first, right against the dirt. Then the wales come in to support it. And then the struts are wedged in super tight to brace the whole thing. It's this step-by-step process that creates a secure space for people to work down there. But hey, safety isn't just about what's happening inside the trench. The area right around the excavation, well, that's just as critical if you want to prevent a collapse. Yeah, that area right around the edge of the trench is a serious safety zone. Piling all the excavated dirt, we call that spoil, right at the edge adds a dangerous amount of extra weight, or what's known as a surcharge load. And believe it or not, that pressure alone can be enough to trigger a cave-in. So to stop this from happening, the standard is very specific about something called a minimum berm. This rule basically creates a vital buffer zone. It does 2 things. First, it stops loose dirt and rocks from accidentally rolling back onto workers down below. And second, it reduces that direct pressure on the upper parts of the trench walls. Smart, right? Okay, now let's add something dynamic and really powerful into the mix: heavy equipment. The ground-shaking force from these machines adds a whole new layer of risk, so of course, there are specific rules to keep them from becoming a major hazard. This is a simple but incredibly important rule of thumb. The weight and the vibration from heavy equipment can easily trigger a collapse if it gets too close. So it's simple. If your trench is, say, 3 meters deep, that big excavator needs to stay at least 3 meters back from the edge. Finally, let's cover the essential systems that protect everyone, not just the workers inside the trench, but also the general public who might be walking by the site, especially after hours when no one's around. Look, if there's an emergency, our worker needs a quick and clear way out, no question. And that's exactly why these access rules are so specific. Ladders have to be close by, and they need to stick up high enough so you can get a secure handhold. It's all about making sure that escape is always possible. And that responsibility for safety, it extends beyond just the work crew. Open holes have to be fenced off to protect the public. And if work is happening at night, or if the site is just left overnight, you've got to have proper lighting and warning signals. It's mandatory to prevent anyone from accidentally falling in. So let's just recap the core ideas here. It all starts with having a competent supervisor. From there, you've got to respect that 1.5-meter depth rule, keep the edges clear, keep heavy machinery far away, and always plan for a safe way for workers to get in and out. You know, these standards, they give us a really clear framework for safety. But the real challenge is always applying them on a live site where you have unpredictable soil, changing weather, and a million other things going on. That's where a true safety culture is really built. And that's a wrap for this explainer on IS 3764. We really hope this breakdown helps create safer work sites for everyone. If you found this useful, do us a favor and subscribe for more deep dives into complex topics. Thanks for joining us.